Hey, guys, it is your girl D, and this is Dollface coming back in with you guys again. Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. We almost through this work week, right? And hopefully, you guys are listening to this while you're taking a breather and everything else. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of unwinding. And hopefully, you are taking all of this information in, or you will take this information in that I'm gonna get ready to give you guys to think maybe the weekend or whatever about the possibility of adding some of these things into your plans, I should say. And so this is Dollhouse once again. Thanks for joining me, you guys. And as you know, this is a AI centered channel. Okay. And my main purpose here is one to get you guys to be able to subscribe and like the information, share the information, and subscribe so that you guys can go ahead and be a part of the conversation, and also to be able to let you guys know about the ebook that's coming out shortly. November 4th, it'll be dropping. I'll have all the information the closer that it gets. Um, Also, I wanted to let you guys know that we discuss all types of aspects of AI because AI is it's I can't even compare it to the stars in the sky because the stars are so numerous. But there's so many aspects of AI, right? And so we always want to take a certain fragment, and I want to give you guys some real kind of life examples and scenarios so that you can compare it to with your life and your situation to say, hey, maybe I can do that. And really, I want you to think big, you know what I'm saying? So I'm always going to tell you one about integrating it into your life, whether you're a content creator or if you're a boss on the job. I want you to be able to integrate AI and learn AI. And also, if you're thinking about stepping out, just getting your feet a little wet on the side and getting some on your own, I want you to be able to do that. But you need to be able to know something about with AI, right? And I don't want you to be scared about AI, okay, as well. So that's why I'm giving you guys all of these talking points so you'll kind of know and be familiar with AI, and you won't be the person that's left out of the conversation because AI is here to stay. It is literally here to stay. It is not something that's going to replace us. It is going to actually enhance the workplace. And I'm going to start it with saying this once again. If you guys have not watched the news, you have people, big corporations like Amazon and others who are laying humans off to use that money that they're paying to salaries for humans to invest inside of AI. Amazon laid off, or they're in the midst of laying off 14,000 people, right? And so it's not just Amazon. You have companies like Target and all of these other places that are going to be laying off or in the midst or either have laid off. I think UPS is also going to be laying off people. There's an entire list of people, and they are constantly talking about it. You're not going to see it on your news. You're going to see it on the world news. Okay. And that's an important thing that you guys have to start watching as well is the world news. So you'll get a full aspect of what it is that the local news, they're going to talk about, oh, somebody said the dog out of a tree. No, you need to know what the job aspects is. And I'm going to tell you guys something else that you can use as well. It's called a warn list. Warn list, you can just go to your local search engine and type in the warn list for whatever your state is. Because what happens is this, that before they do layoffs, companies that have larger numbers of people, they have to let the state know. Okay, so you can go and type in warn list and look to see by your state to see if your state or companies are going to be laying people off, right? So and let's get to it today. Okay, you guys, as always, your girl is multitasking, but I am here so that I can be able to talk about our topic of the day, right? You ready? All right, then. So we're going to be talking about building a fintech startup, okay? Um, and this actually, I want you guys to think about it because this might be a guide to actually breaking generational wealth, right? to breaking that generational brokenness, if you want to call it, right? And so, you know, when you think about it, we always talking about generational wealth, because it has been generations that have been broke, right? And so we've changed our mindset. We have, we're cutting the toxicity off, but for some, that's still not enough to kick in the economics the way it's supposed to. So you're clearing the pathway, but you need to be able to have a destination to go on the pathway, right? And so that's why we're talking about fintech. Okay. And so let's just start here, sis. You ever notice, like, you can stretch a 50 $50 grocery budget, right? Like, you a CEO or something, and say, you got $50, you're gonna make that 50 turn into 150. You're gonna be doing like Ezel, you're gonna be flipping it over and then turning it back over, flipping it, trying to get the most out of that money, right? And so knowing that, excuse me, knowing that, um we're not in the Fortune 500 company, of course we're not. But when it comes to building wealth, the system got you jumping through hoops and stuff, like we in the circus or something. And it shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they out here giving AI jobs, and we still fighting with overdraft fees like it's Mortal Kombat or something. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be that way. So, the main idea is that you want to be able to have these skills, and you just need to be able to apply them into your everyday life when you think about it when it comes to AI. And we know how to hustle, but this is a hustle. You ain't got to be doing no heavy lifting, no pushing, no none of that. None of that. Yes, I have an ebook, but I'm not talking about that. I'm trying to get us familiar with the idea of AI and using it and incorporate it so we can go smart and keep going. Thanks for joining. So when you know that, you are easily able to put yourself up at a level that's higher than 99% of the people, whether you on a job or whether you're doing something yourself, because a lot of people don't know AI like that. A lot of people like, oh, it's AI, but you can't run from it, because that's something that's going to be integrated. It's going to stay. Let me put this to the side. And it's just here. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing is that we are already using AI. If you look at it with this particular app, if you're using CapCut, you are already in the midst of using AI. It is a prompt that is set up when you look at it, well, generative AI. They have set prompts so everything is easy to touch and access. It's not like how the system used to be, and you have to put all of that coding and prompting and things like that. And if you don't understand or you don't know, really tech positions, like the old school tech positions, are one of the highest laid off positions that there are at the time, right? So think of it like this: you are already managing like complex systems like budgets, your schedules, your kids' childcare, the operations and management. So fintech is just equal to using technology to be able to solve all of those financial problems, all of those issues that you're trying to do. And if you know somebody that's struggling financially, it's usually the single moms that's struggling, juggling paying three cycles and a dream. You know what I'm saying? So that's why understanding fintech is so important. And fintech sounds like a fancy smancy word, but baby, it's just digital hustle with the code base. That's all it is. It's a digital hustle with a code base. You know what I'm saying? So fintech technology is apps, is systems and platforms that make money move faster, right? And so it's fairer and it's more accessible to people as well. And that's the thing that you want to be able to think about. And like some examples I want you to think about is like Cash App, Chime, Greenwoody, Susu, those type of things. Those are fintech. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of larger corporations are getting into it. They just come up with different names, and then they go and invest into it. You know what I'm saying? You remember when your auntie ran from the family savings circle? Congratulations, she was the original fintech founder. It's just the analog edition. Those people that surround us, those are the ones who actually created it, but now think of it as the electronic version of that. You know what I'm saying? So Fintech isn't just for tech bros. It's not just for the guys. It's a community innovators. It's for those people that want to be able to get into it and put their creative spin on it as well. You know, the black community has always had like financial systems. We had the SUSUs, the rotating credit clubs, the church funds, the such and such fundraisers. We didn't had all of that. We didn't the rent party. We didn't had all of that. The difference now is that you can digitize it. That's what the difference is now. You can digitize that tradition on your own platform. You got to think big. Think big. You get what I'm saying? So, and the thing is that I looked at it, like I said, with AI, you can pick so many different aspects. And I picked fintech because I think like a lot of black moms, especially, single black moms, this is one that's built for black moms, right? Because everybody be like, oh, I can't, a lot of times you can't do things, you can't move the way you want to if you got kids, because it be costing you more than what, and the money don't be money. It don't be making sense to go out, and do certain things if the money ain't what it's supposed to be. And so, the same way you turned a single paycheck into your rent, you get what I'm saying? Our lunch money, our school supplies, that's called resource optimization. Okay. And so really you've been a CEO in this area. You know what I'm saying? It's just a bigger word for what you would be doing. You know what I'm saying? If you were to put that on your resume, it's resource optimization. And that's a job that's gonna be paying you like $100,000 because you're making a way out of no way. Okay. It's just the terminology. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, like black single mothers are the masters of strategy. We be doing creativity, we have financial discipline. You can't go out there running and going and getting and picking and buying and seeing and sicking and eating you can't do all of that and you got responsibilities at home. And that's what single fathers too. Don't listen. You guys have already led. This is about being able to expand that into leadership and also ownership is what I really am trying to be able to stretch. But building fintech and it isn't about being just a coder. Don't get scared thinking you only have to be a coder. I keep telling people that everything with technology is running so fast. You don't have to be no coder. It's really about identifying those financial pain points in your community. Okay. And being a person of color, it's a lot of financial pain points in our community. It is trillions of pain points, okay? And so, I know you like trillions. Well, listen, let me just give it to you an example. You could create an app, right? That's gonna help people save money, save up for their rent by rounding off their grocery purchases, right? So that's something, nobody hadn't thought about doing. And you know what? Listen, if somebody else did think about doing this, let me tell you this. It's more than one fast food chain. So it could be more than one app that would be able to help people save up money for their rent. Okay. So that you can use fintech to be able to create a app that would do something like that as well. You can also use our microloan platform and for black moms or black dads to support each other between their paydays. A lot of people ain't doing that. You ain't got to go, everybody here know about crowdfunding. Crowdfunding was an idea that somebody else didn't have. But who lended the parents money when you run it a little short in between your paydays? Why not do that? Why not do something that's going to hit one of those pain points that's in the community? I mean, you got to understand your lived experience is data. That is why, a lot of people don't understand. They do surveys to be able to find people's appearance, they opinions and they experience and things like that because it's data. That is how they build information up. We don't see it. If you're not exposed to it, you wouldn't know it, right? And so that's why I tell people all of the time, and I understand that we be needing like a real life scenario in our community for us to really get it. Because other than that, it's like it's hearsay. You know what I'm saying? So listen, picture this. A fintech company, right, is built by us and for us. By us for us, okay? And one that keeps money circulating in the neighborhoods. That's what we always talk about, being able to keep the dollar in the neighborhood, to keep you let that dollar work so many times. But imagine being able to build an app that would actually do that. You get what I'm saying? Imagine being able to do that. You can have the block bank, okay? And so that it would just be like a digital wallet for a neighborhood small businesses. Okay. And so like you could use like barbers, the food trucks, the nail technicians that's in the area. Instead of paying a transaction fee to Wall Street, you know what I'm saying? The community keeps the money literally. They literally will keep the money because you got your own bank in the area. You know what I'm saying? You think about like those credit builder circles. And I know some of these ideas are, wild and different things like that, but you have to think outside of the box. But I know sometimes if you're not exposed to it to know about it, then you wouldn't know about it, right? So think about like credit builder circles. You have to imagine an app where five moms or dads will contribute like $50 a month and rotate the access to that money, just like a grandma susu. But with receipts and growth tracking, right? So like those little flower things, them circles, and you pay so much money and you're the outer circle, then you bring somebody in, and then you closer, you get to the middle, and then it's your payout. It's kind of like that, but in digital form, and then you had a receipts to grow and track it. So if it's like five of us that get together, each month we put in $50, right? So November coming up, Jackie would have it. December coming up, Tina would have it. Uh, January coming up, uh, Dewan gonna have it. You see what I'm saying? So the access would change each particular month, but at each time, the money keeps rotating in there. And you can also set a limit for the money that would be in there as well, that they would be able to access to get. That's part of fintech. You can't tell me that ain't no good idea. You can't tell me that. So, and it don't have to be about with trust and stuff like that. Listen, when you have stuff like this, and unfortunately, sometimes they have to be outside people's, you know what I'm saying, that control it, or a system that control it. And then once it is, it's the fairness. It creates a level of unbiased. And that's really what you want to be able to achieve, so that everyone has the optimization to be able to use it and hopefully reinvest and use it into something that will plant a seed, right? So another thing I want you to think about, like with fintech, if we was to think about like creating some, it's like a youth money mentorship app. Everybody always talk about, they didn't teach money in school. The kids, we didn't know this. And listen, this is a chance to be able to rectify that now. It's a chance to be able to do that. I mean, you can have your kids learning, saving, investing, and spending in real time as well. You get what I'm saying? And so, because the next generation shouldn't have to start from scratch. Everybody should, from slavery on to today, the majority of people have had to build from scratch. And it's tiring, it's exhausting, it's depression. It should not have to continually keep rolling on like that. So being able to teach kids through an app how to be able to save and invest and spending their money in real time is going to always be a plus. Always, you know, because if little Malik can remember 47 TikTok dances, I mean, he can learn how to compound interest too. You get what I'm saying? So we have to hold, and that includes me too. I ain't on no soapbox. That's everybody. We got to make sure that they not only know these rappers and singers songs, we got to make sure they know the money, because this is where the money reside. You get what I'm saying? So we got to think in terms of wealth building, and you're not wealthy unless you have six generations that can eat off of that same money. You're not wealthy. You're not wealthy. So those instant start, that's not wealth. You have to consistently reinvest that money. Okay, I went from Starbucks just about every day to when Star gets Starbucks, and now it is a blessing. Okay, Because see, this is what you have to understand. You funding somebody else's dream. You scratching together $6, $7 for a drink, and they out someplace in the Hamptons having a beautiful time. There's nothing wrong with that. But what about your dreams? Time gonna keep rolling on. What about your dreams? Okay then. So let's just go ahead and talk about three problems that we gonna solve with fintech. Okay, you guys. So let's just get real. Okay, here's what your fintech startup is actually healing. Okay, it's gonna have provide financial access. It's gonna provide wealth retention and generational knowledge gaps as well. You guys understand that? Let me go ahead and break that down. So with the financial access that you're gonna have, it's like banks have been ghosting us like bad Tinder dates. They've been shucking and jiving us for so long. It's just ridiculous, right? And so, but when you think of fintech, that let us as a community create the systems where people can finally be seen. You ain't gonna have to worry about, oh, am I gonna get the call back? They're gonna approve this loan. You listen, it solves the problem of exclusion from traditional banking. So where you can't, if you want to go and get a car, a lot of people don't even go through the traditional banks. They have to go and let them test out your credit. Your fingers is crossing it. No, let's stop all of that. And it's also going to create digital pathways as well for saving and for credit and for ownership. And that's what ownership is power. Ownership is power. That wealth retention that I was also telling y'all about, you have to understand that we spend over $1 trillion a year. Okay. So the problem is that none of it stays at home. None of it stays in our community. We don't have the ownership numbers is not adding up with how much we spend out in the community. Okay. You going to spending money places where they wouldn't hire you, your kids, your dog, and nobody else. That's part of the forest. Don't just look at the tree. That's part of the forest. So a fintech company, your fintech company, because you need to think big, okay? It could keep money inside of those black neighborhoods, right? And I'm not gonna just say predominantly black neighborhoods, okay? And so it teaches circular wealth as well. You know what I'm saying? So we spend money with each other, we build with each other, and we begin to trust with each other. Okay, you don't have to feel like, well, they trying to steal what I got and this and that. No, man, you don't have to feel like that. And that generational knowledge gap that I was talking about, most of us learned about money from struggle and not strategy. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm gonna wait. That's what I thought. Your app could teach financial literacy through your lived experiences. It could. It really could. And it would help to solve the intergenerational wealth transfer. Because a lot of times, if we make wealth, we can't transfer it over. It's either overly taxed or it's lost because the next generation doesn't understand about wealth and savings and reinvesting. Let me just give you guys a tip. A lot of people, even these people that win the lotto, a lot of times they go broke. You know why? Because they like, I just got $5 million. I can go get this. No, you have millionaires that are staying millionaires. You know why? Because they're living off the interest of their money. They're not living off that initial $5 million. They living off the interest from that $5 million, or either they're investing that $5 million and they living off the interest from those investments, not off that main money. And we have to understand as soon as we get something, you don't just take it and run and throw it and spin it. Okay. And so if we was to start a blueprint, okay, how would we start? Because I mean, I don't want y'all to panic. This ain't Silicon Valley. You know what I'm saying? This is Soul Valley. You know what I'm saying? They saying, we would want to, if we gonna start, we'd have to start with a problem, not the app idea. Okay. And then you have to talk to the community or be in the community to find what financial headaches keep them up at night. I mean, listen, if you ever get married, you kind of know already what keep us up at night. Being able to make and pay for your bills and being able to have food, rent, the basics, right? And so Once you learn the basics, if you want to go out there and get more research or whatever, you can use those free platforms and to be able to learn about fintech. And so once you do, you all you have to do is build like a simple prototype and find a tech partner, right? And so you just let them know, hey, this is what my ideal is. That's somebody driving past. That's you let them know this is what my ideal is. What do you think? And people love a founder solving a real community problem. They do. And just in case you don't know, Canva is free. Your logo can look rich before your account does. So just keep that in mind. I mean, this is not just about apps, it's about ancestry, to be honest with you. It's about being can I say that it's about being excited about the future. Because a lot of people actually are not excited about the future. It gets to be mundane and people do not continue. They won't put forth the effort. But it has to be saucy. It has to be something exciting. It has to be something that gets you moving. Don't nothing get people moving like money. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? And every fintech move that you make rewrites the story for both your kids, your grandkids, and also the area. So the only thing I can say is that we've been surviving in this particular system for years, and now you actually get to build one. You know what I'm saying? Generational wealth is not just money. It's the knowledge, it's the access, it's the ownership, and it starts with the first idea. Right there at your kitchen table, right there on your sofa. It starts with you. And if you're going to say, hey, today I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to change myself, I'm going to make a difference, then you're going to do it. Start small. Use some of these free apps, right? And be able to create things that are actually, interest you because everybody is not going to like it. But guess what? Your right people will love it. They're gonna be like, where did this come from? Oh my God, I've been waiting my entire life for this. And that's the kind of people that you generally want on your side. Those are the people you want to entertain. You're gonna always have somebody to be like, nah, that's too hard to do. I wouldn't do that if I was you. Listen, they wouldn't do it anyway. And that's the thing. You have to understand that when it comes to fintech or it comes to improving you, your family, and things like that, you want to be able to make sure that you are investing. You know what I'm saying? Not just investing in for them to be football players, invest in their mind, invest in something that's going to create knowledge, invest in something that's going to create wealth within your family because you can have a bunch of people that's family members together and they still be miserable because it ain't no money there. And I know people be like, "Oh, money don't buy happiness." Well, it'll pay for the search. It will pay for the search, okay? So I have seen a lot more people unhappy. First of all, let me say this: your health is your wealth, but we're talking about financially. And in today's economy, you have got to be able to set something up. And like I said, it should not always have to be that we are starting from the bottom up. AI is making things so accessible that if you don't jump in on it now, you're gonna be kicking yourself in the next 18 months about it. You are gonna be like, man, all I had to do was try and get in on it. All I had to try and do was do this. Listen, all it takes is for you to spend a little time on you and invest in you. And if you do that, then you are better than 99.9% of the people. Because some people ain't gonna never do that. Some people ain't gonna never do nothing but sit up and watch dance videos and laugh and talk and be in somebody else's business while you can be the business. And you're gonna be the one where she be acting fun. She don't do this the same. Listen, you go out there and you making your money. You making sure your kids, your grandkids, and hopefully the Lord bless you, your great grands gonna be out here. Because let me just be clear, it's not a recession for everybody. Everybody's not in a recession. It's a wealth gap that's there. Okay. Everybody's not in a recession. So you have to decide what line that you want to be on. And so again, this is the time that I was going to spend on this app today with the live. Hopefully, you guys got some information you can use out of it. Please go ahead and look forward to that ebook as well. And check out one of the videos that I did with AI as well so that you can see how much technology is changing. Like I said, the ebook is coming out November 4th. I am starting to upload videos so you can be able to see in the background. I'm not just talking about it. I'm doing AI as well. I'm creating as well. So I can't talk to you about something that I'm not doing. I don't do that. Okay. And so I'm putting it here so that you can see and invest in yourself and know we need community members who are going to think that they're worth it, that invest in themselves and want to invest going down generations as well, so that you will be able to provide at least knowledge to your community clan. Okay. I am also on other platforms as well. This is my only TikTok. This is my only YouTube. That's it. Okay. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys on the next live. Bye.